sleeping, uh, shoes, I mean the sandals, and he threw it out of the train. And Swami Vivekananda was watching everything. He was pretending to be asleep, and he waited for the Britisher to go to sleep. So when the Britisher went to sleep, he took his coat and his hat and threw it out of the window. And once that was accomplished, he went to sleep. Now the Britisher woke up later, and started searching, where is my coat and where is my hat? And ultimately he ended up waking up Swami Vivekananda and asked, do you know where it went? And he said, yeah, it went to find my sandals. So, that's the kind of tit for tat, quick mindedness that he had, rather than crying and feeling, oh, he considers me as an Indian or whatnot. He just thought of a different way to uh, give the reply. Then let's go for the second example, which is mind as an enemy, which is Adolf Hitler. So this example actually serves as a tragic way in which an unchecked mind can turn into one's worst enemy. Hitler's deep seated anger, resentment, and hatred fueled his desire. So, if you see that chart, if you remember that chart, even if all the above things here, see, anger, resentment, and hatred actually fueled his desire. So one thing actually fuels the other. So it's not just because of a desire nothing will happen. If desire comes, everything else comes with it. And if one of the other is there, everything else from there also comes and increases the desire. So this allows, so Adolf Hitler, driven by a dark undisciplined mind, embraced harmful ideologies and manipulated the masses through propaganda. Ultimately, it led him to commit suicide. But that is what will happen if you listen to the fancies of the mind. All right, so I have some practical things like problems and solutions. I bring this because some of us, many of us, few of us might have some of these problems, or many of these problems, or few of these problems, or one of these problems. And if we just recognize the problem, that also actually helps us in the problem to go away, because then it's just so it can be a very small subtle problem to a very big problem. Yeah, if it is very very deeply engraved, you might have to work on it. Otherwise, small problems, I think we can just look at it and it will dissolve. So the problems are, let's discuss: struggle with self acceptance. So if you have such a problem where you have some self-image issues, then you have to write down one quality you admire about yourself every day. And then probably at the end of 1 week, I think something similar Nitin sir shared with us earlier, that where you are writing down what you want. And so like that one quality you write down about yourself, and I think you will have seven qualities and one self unacceptable thing that you have, and seven good qualities, and you'll actually start admiring yourself. Next problem: if you have lack of awareness of the, I mean, if you means if your mind has it. Okay, so lack of awareness of inner potential. Again, try different things and encourage that personal growth within. Next is difficulty seeing good in others. This is really very interesting, because if we are actually being judgmental here, and somewhere came across this quote that if we are actually judgmental towards anyone, next life we are them. So don't judge, because what happens is we are creating these vrittis, and mind will not understand. It is the chitta where all your the tendencies and the vasanas are getting recorded. So every time you thought about this thing positively or negatively, it becomes deep engraved thing in your chitta, and then it will manifest. It will not see whether you like it or not. That will come as a part of your intellect, but it is there in your chitta. So dependency on worldly achievements, do some spiritual activities, which will actually, you know, help you detach from the worldly things and go towards the more important things, which is to know. Otherwise, we'll be stuck in the cycle of birth and death. Then, if you're easily discouraged by failure, then view them, all the failures, as lessons and use them to build resilience. We know the Napoleon story. He saw this. He was defeated, I think, 8 times, and then he was actually hiding in a cave, and he saw this spider who was trying to make a web. It was every time it was trying to jump from one point to the other to connect the thread, and it failed 8 times, but the ninth time it was able to. So the same thing, he went and he won. So like that. So don't be discouraged by failure. Even Edison, he failed three. I think it's very near to my place here in New Jersey. So uh, he actually failed for, I think, 3,999 times, and the 4,000th time is when he made the uh, electricity, made the bulb and the light, etc. So yeah, so then if you are struggling to control anger, one technique that you can try is deep breathing, which will actually help in calming down. I think this will be repeated later also, so I'll share some more later. Then if you have difficulty building positive relationships, spend time with people who share similar values to encourage mutual growth. If you have persistent worries, focus on small practical steps instead of outcomes to reduce stress. So don't focus on the ultimate goal, set small goals and achieve it. If there is a difficulty in maintaining spiritual practices, join a community that values spirituality to stay committed and consistent. If there is a temptation for immediate pleasure, practice delays for before indulging in craving to build self-control. Lack of patience in personal growth. Remember the example of bamboo tree. It takes 5 years for its root to take a solid, it does not grow. After that 5 years, it just shoots up. And within, I think, one or, I mean, 3 or 6 months, it's a big tree. And then overwhelmed by responsibilities, break the task into smaller steps and prioritize. If you have an impulsive decision making mind, then pause before deciding. Give yourself time to think things through. Eating out of stress or boredom, find healthy coping methods. Eat healthy things or exercise. If you have a habit of procrastination, break task into smaller manageable steps, but don't leave it because it's difficult or hard. Keep at it, because that will actually it's building your focus, to do that task. Avoiding constructive feedback, keep an open mind, because um somebody's coming and telling you something. Actually, nobody likes to tell other person's flaws, because it's an uncomfortable thing for them also. Even then they are coming and saying, that means we should take it in a positive manner, and it's for our benefit that they are saying. If we harbor that instead of thinking that, no, that person has said like this, how dare, or it's not helping you in any way. If you have a habit of overthinking, redirect your energy to practical actions instead of overthinking. If you have fear of failure, view it as a chance to learn and grow. Feeling entitled to success, practice humility, and recognize that success comes from consistent effort. Self doubt and insecurity, reflect on past successes to build confidence. So anything your mind is trying to, pull based on all the past things that it knows, you know that you are not the history, that you are not your past. You don't know about the future. Everything that you have is this present moment. And what you harbor right now within you will dictate your growth. Next, if you are having a self-centered thinking, practice empathy. Focus less on yourself and more on others. Harboring resent, these are all identifications that we might have. Harboring resentment, learn to forgive. Habit of blaming others, take responsibility for your actions to grow and reduce resentment. Lack of compassion, engage in small acts of kindness. If you have difficulty letting go of anger, so that's what I said, I will bring it again. So I've said that we can use this breathing exercise, but another practical thing that you can do to let go of the anger that I have come across was um, practice anger as a play. Whenever practice anger, suppose you're not able to do something or some small mistake happened with yourself, you just become angry, and then you just make it a play, so that when the real thing comes, when you're actually dealing with others, you will see that this practice will extend there also, and then you will laugh at it. Next thing other than that is, after you have become angry, you regret, right? So that regret is also a very good thing, that you don't want to go there again and again and again. But then this will actually involve the other person. And even though it might be something good for you because you are focusing on that aspect, but the other person might feel very sad about it. And it may not, every time that possibility of the situation turning sour might not come your way, or it will rarely come. And you might be at that blasting of the bomb kind of situation. So I think the first is a little bit more effective. um then one thing again, like I have included these two shlokas down, where the 3.27 Bhagavad Gita, it says, all activities are carried out by the three modes of material nature. So in our previous sessions also I have said that the ego is actually taking ownership of everything that other persons are doing. So we have to understand that even if there is a body, there is a mind or intellect, they are also conditioned. Okay, how is it conditioned? It is looking at others around it, and it is taking it within it, and it starts behaving like that. So if you are in a tamasic environment, all the conditioning will be like that. So ego might say that I did it, but the conditionings are being done in your body, your mind, and your intellect. So these activities are carried out by these modes, these conditionings in your other bodies. But in ignorance, the soul, deluded by the false identification with the body, thinks of itself as the doer, and it thinks, I did it. And that causes karma. So the next thing is 3.34, the senses naturally experience attachment and aversion. So here also, if our senses, we are thinking that we are actually having this like and dislike. It's not like that. It's because of the conditioning. Like if you are in a tamasic environment and your senses are conditioned in a certain way, you go and look at someone. Even in religion also it happens, right? One person is from other religion and learned something, the other person is some other religion, they have learned something, so they will not like each other. But you have to understand that it's not the ego, it's the environment. Probably it's the conditioning that is causing this. So you have to see it that way. So the senses naturally experience attachment and aversion to the sense objects, but do not be controlled by them, for they are way layers and force. They will change the course of your journey. Your journey will not become spiritual, it will become material. The another thing that your mind might be, showing you like a character is impulsive spending. So Plan purchases in advance to avoid impulsive buys and promote self-discipline. Impulsive behavior, pause to consider consequences before acting, which helps with self-control. This is my last slide. So, comparison with others. I've told that in the Matsarya, or the ego, the mother, you know, if you do that, how is it going to help you in recognizing your true self? Because as a true self, you are one, but as a false self, yeah, you are separate. So you can either focus on that or your true self. So comparison with others, focus on your personal growth and unique strengths, because God has made you unique. You don't have to compare yourself. Count your blessings, count all the things that makes you unique. That very first thing, that you write these points every day, one point what you like about yourself, and improve yourself. Then addictive tendencies. Practice service and empathy to focus less on yourself and more on others. Self victimization. Okay, something bad has happened. It's okay. It happened. It's like another way of a person coming and telling you your flaws, right? It when a person is pointing a finger at you, there's a chance that that person might have three times more than yours, but still you have that one thing, right? And if you practice forgiveness, or practice transformation, actually that will help you as a better to become a better version of yourself, rather than self victimization, because in that process you are thinking about the same thing again and again, and you're practicing resentment, developing hate. Over reliance on coping mechanism. Take responsibility. Don't we have this quote, right? When you cry alone, and when you laugh, everybody comes around. So you deal with your issues, look at your mind. Attachment to negative labels. Engage in small acts of kindness to nurture compassion and empathy. Ruminating on past mistakes, same thing. Don't think about all of this. Learn from it. Calm yourself down before reacting in anger. And this is actually a very good tool, you know even if you're ruminating on past mistakes, use it as an opportunity to play the anger game. And next is obsession with sensory pleasures. Set non-material goals for fulfillment without indulging in sensory pleasures. So if you have these any senses, see, senses are always going to be directed outwards, right? So anything which is non-material means focusing on God. So if you have an obsession with sensory pleasures, I think Sandhya once mentioned about the even if you have a food thing, think about it as a prasad, in that way, and make it as a thing about God. So finally, um, I want to share this quote that I just now came across. I added this. And God said, "Love your enemy." And I obeyed him and loved myself. So even all of this that you're doing, that is a see, if we are all egos, right? We are all identities. The essence, the Paramatma is within us, and he loves us, and we know that he loves us, so we love him. So like that, we understanding that God loves us, we have to love ourselves, we have to love our ego, we have to love our mind. Then only we can actually look at our flaws, rather than I have this problem, I have that problem. Look at ourselves for and make a positive change. Thank you, Radhirati. Thank you for the opportunity. It was a privilege. Any questions? Should I share the presentation again?
No, I want to add that was awesome. Thank you, Pratusha. I think you covered it very pretty comprehensive. What are the pitfalls of the mind, and what is a better way to process that, and try to make our friend mind our friend. uh, turn it away from the enemy that it is currently. So thank you for that. Very beautifully.
Thank you.
I think maybe that thing would be a lot of tools you presented. So too much to chew upon, but a lot of practical tools. So thank you for coming up for that. I just wanted to add, see, our mind is like a part of our Sukshma Sharir, right? And the current Sharir is where our pravattis are there. So if you don't consciously work on it, the way mind will work is it will just deepen the existing pravrittis. So let's say we have a pravritti to be greedy, or let's say angry, or to be envious, right? Those are the pravrittis we are born with, right? That is present in our current sharir, and that compels our sukshma sharir to think it that way, right? And it's only with knowledge we can override it. Otherwise, our default setting, whatever that default setting is, right, in this life, because of our past pravrti, it will only become deeper if we continue to ride the tendencies of our mind. So it starts, Karan Sharir has a pravartis, Sukshma Sharir, where which mind and senses is where you make the resolve. And then the Sthul Sharir, the gross body, it carries out the activity. So it all starts with the thought. The thought will come based on your tendencies, but thought itself cannot do any harm. Thought becomes a resolve, sankalp, like they call it in Hindi, and then sankalp gets translated, or resolve gets translated into kriya, action. So if you cut the resolve, thought itself cannot do anything. That is why in Kali Yuga, Ramananji very beautifully says that in Kali Yuga, if you have a thought, that negative thought about, right, it does not constitute as a karma. And we will have all kind of thoughts because of our past tendencies. Our mind is carrying so many pravartis from past, and God has given us just a drop of that. So it will create unholy, unwholesome, random thoughts. So we cannot be too harsh on ourselves. Mind's job is to create thoughts, and our pravartis, past pravartis, we don't even know. Sometimes your mind can surprise you by proposing something that you would say, why did it think it that way, right? But the key is not to make a resolve out of it, so that it doesn't translate it into an action, and then you end up accruing karmic backlog. So at thought, with knowledge, we can become a drishta, or a spectator, or a witness, right? When we become a participant, um, especially when it proposes something which is unholy, which is non-beneficial, that's where the problem starts. And with knowledge, this Bhagavad Gita knowledge is powerful, because with knowledge, when we become simply a witness of it, and we know that this is a not of good thought, then we start overriding our tendencies. We try to neutralize it, we try to think it the other way, or we take help from God, right? Like Devaji talks about this, just chant the name, it will neutralize that feeling over time. Now, if we want to do this journey all alone, conquering our mind all alone, right, through any other practice, it is like going through a sea, trying to swim on your own. You'll have sharks, you'll have tons of things to deal with, and it becomes very tricky. But if you take God's, it's like getting into a plane, and then God, Guru will take you through that. And that is where I think God's remembrance and the chanting comes in very handy, because those thoughts, on your own, you will struggle to do that. But the so many tools that Pratyusha spoke about, the right wisdom on how to deal with that thought at that particular moment will be provided for by God at that moment, if you consciously work on it, and you truly pray to God that it is not within my ability to conquer your maya, or to practice things, even have the wisdom you know extracted out of the knowledge that you've given. I cannot do that, but when you sincerely pray for it, God will actually provide for the right thought, the right tool, the right wisdom at the right time. So just wanted to add that, as part of our mind, making,
Thank you.
befriending our mind. Yeah, just wanted to add that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for the insight. Um, Anyone else want to say something? Yes, Preeti ji.
Very, very simple yet powerful presentation. Very well done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, our mind is very smart in ganging up with our senses, right? So one sense will gang up with our mind, and then do whatever it wants to do. So that ganging up we have to break. We have the ability actually to do that, right? Like our netrindri or our eyesight or a visual sense will gang up with our mind and say, let's binge watch a Netflix series today. Or our rasindri or our sense of taste would gang up with our mind and say, let's have an extra scoop of ice cream or something. So that ganging up happens very quickly. Mind is very smart in ganging up with a particular sense. But
Mm.
with knowledge, I think, or with willpower or why power and with praying to God, we need to break up that association over time. I see Samir and Sandhya as well. All right.
Yes, Samranji.
Need to unmute yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah, very nice presentation. I just wanted to ask that when we are in a state of awake, like in the work life and day-to-day life, we have a choice of controlling or diverting our thoughts and minds to not think what shouldn't be thought, like energized as in terms of thought. But when we are in a sleep state, and like our gross body is completely lying down and we are not consciously uh, doing activity with the physical body. Sometimes what happens is our mind gives thoughts like very it punishes us, like uh, it feels like you're drowning somewhere or you are met with an accident and stuff like that. So in those thoughts, what plays a role, the pravritti or the karan sharir? How does it work like that way?
Sir.
I don't know. See, our dreams is a combination of our subconscious and conscious, right? So it is basically anything that you are able to see in your sleep is somewhere there, right? It's your mind only is creating it. And mind has two aspects to it, your conscious aspect and subconscious, right? And subconscious could be from multiple lifetimes. So whatever data it's retrieving, the data is there, right? And data is not transporting from somebody else's mind, it's your mind only. So, but yeah, dreams is basically a reflection of whatever you think a lot, or maybe something hidden in your mind, and that is how it combines and plays it. But it's part of our mind only, right? It is not borrowing it from the person who's sleeping next to you or in the next room, right? So it's your own mind. Maybe one of the
Yeah,
lifetime,
but
maybe one of the
actually,
experiences.
what happens is in that state, physically also sometimes we actually feel that pain in
True.
terms of the sleep. Like if we are drowning, that we feel that physically that oh, I'm not in the bed, I'm drowning in the water. So
It
it's
happens.
that impactful.
Very true. So, in fact, there are a lot of heart attacks that happen in sleep only, right? That, and I don't know if I used to have those kind of dreams, not anymore. You're falling down and you're not hitting, falling from height. So yeah, it happens. So the only remedy to get out of that pain is to wake up. And similarly, we are having a dream of this life. The day we wake up, spiritually wake up, this is also like a dream. Nothing like Janak had asked this. I think this question that once he had hosted a feast, and a couple of, I think, bulls or something came, and the vessels holding the food, they fell down. So he said, is this a dream, or basically, or something like that happened? I forgot that.
Am I dreaming as a that person or
So
this?
he actually asked what is true. What am I
Hmm.
dreaming? That is true, or
Yeah,
the thing
this is
when
true.
I'm awake, that is
Both
true. Yeah.
both are true, actually. Basically, both are dreams if you think about it, right? Dream, when you say you wake up, it's gone. You only created it. And this also is a dream that we have created. We have created this whole drama in our head, right? When we sleep, when we are in deep sleep, when you are in deep sleep, when your sukshma sharir is also resting, your mind is also resting, then we are not even aware of our identity. Who's my son, who's my daughter, what are the problems I have, and what is that I want to do. Everything is fine. But when we wake up, we create that reality around it as well. And they say when you spiritually wake up, even this will pass away as a dream. In fact, I was hearing Sadhguru once, talking about when you die. you are like, oh my God, this was the whole drama. I missed this opportunity again. Okay, none of it belonged to me. This is who I truly was. That moment happens in everybody's life when we depart this world. He said the spirituality is about prepping up for that moment so that you are not like, oh my God, I wasted it again. This was all. Understand that drama while you are alive, not when you are again exiting and then missing out on that opportunity. So that is what spiritual awakening is. But Samir, and I think to your question, dream is again something born out of your mind only, right? Something that you would have processed or stored or getting activated in a disoriented manner.
Yeah.
Yeah, and while we were having this, actually, something that came in my mind right now was, um, see, if you have deities, right? We pray to God, right? So we have good dreams also, right? We don't question them. So maybe we are having some other entities. We don't know who's causing us bad dreams. So maybe we can chant and sleep and try to see that if something like that is not coming, like Hanuman Chalisa or something, see that if it helps you. Um, then regarding that waking up from the dream, actually I came across a video very recently where it's showing what is Brahman and what is God. So there's this two categories. One is pure self, okay, pure self, and the other side is he's saying in that video it is said that all there are the Brahman is actually creating all these different identities and powering them, giving them, energizing them. And that's how these identities, different, like me or different people, we are born. Now we are in this play, and in this play we have willpower. By this willpower we are doing good karmas and bad karmas. And this play of karma will happen forever till we quit the game. So the person who has the highest, the karmic points, positive points will become gods, and the lowest will become the negative entities. In that video, it is being said like that. And Krishna is actually manifesting in the world of Maya, taking a form, which is a real Brahman, taking a form and coming to help us to wake up. So this itself is a dream where as Krishna's parts were identified as different persons. So within that, there is another dream, is what you're talking about. So I think dream within a dream. So I think we can use the sources that we are provided, which are deities, to conquer the negative dreams.
Something like Inception, a dream within a dream.
Yeah.
Madhuji wants to ask a question to Madhuji.
Yes.
Yeah, Nitinji, Radhe Radhe, everybody. Uh,
Radhe Radhe.
I look forward to these classes. Actually, they're so enlightening. One question I have is I don't know how to put it. Like I feel more and more greedy to gather more and more good karmas. I have started feeling that greed nowadays. So I'm thinking that okay, if I do this, then I will get a good karma. Then I'll do this, then I'll have lots of, I'll save lot of good karma so that at least in future I will not face any trouble. That kind of greed has recently started, and it is recent only. And though I thought that I'm getting a little knowledge and improve myself, and recently this greed has started attacking me, I think. So is it a mind issue, I mean lack of control of mind, or another sort of greed has
No,
started
no, I think
attacking?
this is a good thing, but eventually, again, I'm referring it from what I have been listening of late. So Ramanji says, see, it's a good start basically where you go from Ashubh to Shubh, right? Less of Ashubh, more of Shubh. In fact, you minimize or finish it off, and then you start offering your Shubh karmas also to God. Then it will become Nirguna. Okay, so it's a good start. It's only because of your Shubh or auspicious deeds that you are here. right? You are attending a satsang or reading a Bhagavad Gita, or you have this inclination. Why is it happening? Because of your shubh karma. So shubh karmas are needed. But then as you progress, you even start offering. You see, it's like this. You are gathering a stockpile, right? Now, Shubh Karma is also something which is binding beyond a point, because at best it will give you a better life after this, right? It will take you to Swarg or make you a Gandharv, or you may go to Brahmalok, but you are still stuck in this material world. So, like this is avashyameva bhoktavyam kritam karmam shubhashubham. So, Shubh and Ashubh, both karmas you have to bear. You will get a good result, but not beyond this material world, right? You are still stuck here. So the real thing is that is a good greed, but then with knowledge, you will start offering it back to God. That will make it nirgun. You see what I'm saying? And second thing is, see, even with Namja, people say when we do that, people have that greed, something good will happen to me. Okay. Now I get that point. Fine, good will happen. But think of it this way. Now you are collecting something, okay, which is like worth, which has the potential to take you to God. Why would you underutilize it by taking care of your miseries and getting something good in life, right? So you understand that, get that knowledge and don't waste that punya part of it. Punya offer to God so that it takes you closer to God. If you encash your punya, you are like, I'm going to encash it. If you encash it, it's done. After that, again, you have to accrue punya again, right? So rather than encashing it, start offering it to God and it will give you even better results. That's the right attitude to actually process it.
Okay, so I have to think that this greed is happening, that I want to reap something materially of it. Actually, I'm not actually offering it to God.
True.
Oh,
It's like start offering it to God, that whatever
uh-huh.
shubh karmas are, you are giving me an opportunity. So thank you for that. Right?
Uh,
That will give you nirgun results, which are much higher.
no, I'm thinking that it is for God only I'm doing, but I think I'm greedy, so that is a material belief.
Yeah. Greedy for what? So that all good happens to you, nothing bad happens to you.
No,
It's like,
no, that I will somehow get to Golok or something like that.
no, it's a good, no, it's a good
Greed.
desire. It is not a material desire, na? That is a spiritual desire. Perfectly
So
okay.
that is not.
No. In fact,
Uh,
a devotee is always greedy. Devotees always think ki I am not able to do enough of satsang. I am not able to remember God enough. I'm not
uh,
able to do sadhana. I need to do more. So that greed is always good. That's not material. It's always good.
oh,
You'll
okay.
always be discontent with your current state. That is a good attitude, I would say.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I was so disturbed by it that I feel that. Okay, I got it. Thank you.
I
As
I
long
have
as, yeah, as long as we're not stuck in a reward for material rewards kind of a thing, then I think we are right. That greed is fine, because if you are satisfied, then you will not do sadhana. You'll say, "Oh, I've done enough of it. I deserve darshan of God," and so that is not the right attitude a devotee has. So,
yeah. There's a story in Bhagavatam about Trishanku. He wanted to go to Svarglok with his own body intact. So Vishwamitra tried that, and like everybody's started mocking him. I think there are some other reasons for that, that he won't be able to go to the Swarg. But then Trishanku approached sage Vishwamitra, and he said that nobody is giving, and I think helping me out to reach Swarga with this body, you please help me. So Vishwamitra said, okay, I will. So then he, with his powers, he actually sent him with body to Indralok. So Indralok said, no, I mean, Indra said, you are not coming here. You are not welcome. So you go back. So then he was sent back again, and Trishanku this time went to Sage Vishwamitra and said, I think there was some Brahmin, some problem because of which he was not allowed, or some deed. So he went back to Vishwamitra again, and Vishwamitra this time said that I'm going to create a Swarga for you, s- a special Swarga. So he has now another Swarga made, and for that, Vishwamitra had to use all of his good merits. And the story ends that he was very happy ultimately, because he was able to finish off his good karmas, which helped him to reach God. Because if you are in that karmic um, good things and bad things, the chances of you getting a very, very long life in some other Deivik abodes are more, which is also in physical realm only. So we have to always look for going beyond our good and bad karmas. A story that I came across, which is in discussion, I thought I'll share.
Yeah, I think the good karmas also are binding, so they have to be
Karmas
exhausted. I
binding.
think in Maharashtra also this tell the story because of their good karma, gopis got the opportunity to meet Krishna, right? But then he vanished after that. Good karma is over. Now he's going to really meet because he had to exhaust their punyas also, right? But then after that he met again. All that leela, that is the way it unfolded. So yeah, good karma itself is shubh karma is also binding. Right?
Mm.
Meritorious, yeah.
We have to do a karma, which is being an instrument of God, and not, don't have this intention of doing something for something. We do it for God. That I think will make the everything as an akarma, and we might, easily get off the chains that binds us, both good and bad.
And other principle of God is that when you do good things, whatever you do for yourself, that keeps on getting depleted. But when you do it for somebody else, you get it with compound interest. Okay, there's another story in our scriptures where is a guy, he was, when he exited this world, he was told that you have done enough punyas, okay, so you will go to Swarg. So he said, okay, I want to see how Narak is though. So Chitragupta takes him, he said, all right, let me show you how Narak is. So when he goes to see Narak, it was very horrible existence. People were suffering, they were in so much of misery. So this person says, can I give all of my punyas to them? Because I can't see their miseries. He said, if you give it, then you will be put to nark as well because you would have exhausted your punya. He said, sure, that's fine. If they get a better life, take all my punyas. So he gifts away all of his punyas for those people. And guess what happens after that? He gets promoted to Brahmalok. Okay,
Mm.
so anything that we offer, see, a lot of people they do that, right? That I'm doing this sacrifice for my son, daughter, or for the well-being of this. Ultimately, you only gain back when you don't do it for yourself. But when you do it for your own sake, I need to have this, I need to have, then you are depleting into it. This is how the principle works. Um,
Mm.
and if you offer it back to God, that's the best result you can get, right? And that is the reason why the big saints they choose to bear their prarabdha. You would see people suffering and you would say why they are saints and why they have to suffer this kind of a death or this kind of a body. They choose to do that because although they have an option, they would rather not use their shubh karams to, it's like you having a nuclear missile and you are killing a mosquito. They would use it for the right thing, to for God realization, and they don't care basically. And they exhaust all their karmas. In fact, their growth is also accelerated. Some of the diseases and stuff that they get, if there's any part of prarabdha left from other life, God says, okay, let me accelerate it in this life only because they are already beyond body. So for them, it doesn't matter, right? Whether they have cancer, whether like throat cancer, he had Ramakrishna. For them, it doesn't matter. So God just accelerates their growth so that their punya and papa, which is what our body is made up of, material body, both get exhausted and then they are beyond this cycle completely.
Yes.
One more small question related to that. I had been thinking but forgetting ever. Just now that the context has come. So, is it that for the same reason Swamijis and other saints they keep being among so many people, a crowd of people where they would not be anyway comfortable and spreading the teachings of God? I feel that people would be so uncomfortable. Those people would rather like to stay on their own and meditate and connect to God and stay in that samadhi state. But rather they're walking around, flying around all over the world and spreading the message of Sri Krishna. Is it for the same reason that they are sacrificing their own discomfort?
Yeah, I mean, see, if you don't have people like that, then how will we get the benefit, right? So God chooses people. He tasks people or gurus with a specific purpose. There are saints who come, who people who are on the tipping point of realization, God realization. They come to complete their prarabdha. So if you go to Himalayas and other places, they will simply come, do their sadhana and exit this world. They have just come to bhog their prarabdha and complete the journey. On the other hand, there will be people who will come and take a kshetra sannyas and do, their discourses at a very limited place only. Now, if God wants, their message can spread all over the world in unimaginable ways, like Premanandji, if you see. And then there are people who are tasked to travel around as well, right? So God only knows who will be tasked with what kind of a thing, right? But yes, it's only because those words, even in Kali Yuga, they are spoken about, and we have the benefit of technology, and people are willing to travel for our sake. We are benefiting from it. But God knows how to keep the message alive and give it to people who are genuine seekers. If you have a desire, you will always find the message, right? There not going to be dearth or unavailability of that message around, and whoever becomes an instrument, then it's God's will around that.
Yes, and we will never know what is the real intention behind,
Yeah.
the saints that are they really, but that doesn't matter actually. How we are taking it is what matters
Right.
ultimately.
Right. Because God is seated within us, right? If we are seeking it for the right reasons, God will facilitate that process for us. So, yeah.
We'll get
Falguni?
that anyways, whether we we will want it or not. If he wants it, it will happen.
Yes, Falguni ji is also asking. Falguni ji, you had a question?
Just Radhe Radhe.
Mhm.
Thank you, Pratyusha ji, for a very nice, comprehensive presentation. I just
Thank you.
wanted to add something to what Nitin ji said. I was listening to this very beautiful lecture where a saint in the Himalayas was asked about his, his state of mind, and he said that when I close my eyes, there is peace within, and when I open my eyes, the only question that comes to my mind, what I think is what I can do for the world. So when I close my eyes, there is complete peace within, and when I open my eyes, it is what can I do for the world? The attitude of servitude. So I thought I'd just share with you. Thank you.
Very nice, Falguni ji.
Yeah.
In fact, it reminds that when you close your eyes, you're in a meditative state. And when you open your eyes, it's like, what
Yeah,
seva can I do, right?
yeah, exactly. Right.
Great. Nice. Thank you, Pratusha, again. I have to wrap
Thank you
up.
so much. Thank you,
Thank you
everyone.
so much. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye. Radhe Radhe. Good night. Good
Radhe
day.
Radhe. Good night.